Have you ever met those who keep humming when the song's through? It's like they're living life to a whole different tune. And have you ever met those that keep hoping when it's hopeless? It's like they figured out what the rest haven't yet. The second you realize what you have inside, it's only just a matter of...
Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to bring you tonight the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Goblin Guru. How you doing tonight, Goblin Guru?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing, Mr. Berger?
I'm doing great, man. It is an honor to have you on. If you guys don't know who this guy is, he's pretty much a legend on the ClashRoyale subreddit. He's made a lot of really cool, funny, humorous posts. And tonight, we're just going to kind of interview him. I'm going to ask him some questions about his posting, what got him into the game, what got him into posting about these kind of humorous things, and, hear what he has to say about it. So let's get started with the basics here. So right now, I'm looking at your very first post, which is actually on your old Reddit account, so you can't find it on his account that he's using right now. But anyway, this is the Goblin riding the rocket, and this may look familiar to you guys because it was actually incorporated as a star level for the rocket recently. But that is something we'll get into in a little bit. Let's just get started with the basics here, man. Do you mind telling us like a little bit about yourself? What's your name, where you're from, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so my name's Matt. I live in Nebraska. I've lived here now well over half my life, but I'm originally from California. That's where all my side of the family's from, and moved out here when I was a kid because of a job my dad got, and ended up staying here, going to college, meeting my wife, and starting our family here. So I have 3 awesome kids, and I spend my days designing, which is probably evident from my posts, and my with my wife and kids.
That's awesome, man. If you don't mind me asking, what part of California were you from?
The San Diego area, Encinitas.
Awesome, dude. I lived down, I went to Grossmont College for a couple of years, so I lived down there for a few years. Relatively
Nice.
general area. So you do designing, like, do you do graphic design for a living?
I do, yep.
Okay, awesome. That is very evident and now in your post. And I didn't ask him this beforehand, guys, but that makes total sense, right? If you've seen these guys post, they're pretty amazing. So how long have you been playing Clash Royale, and what got you into this game?
Well, I've been playing, I literally 1 week ago today, I got my 3-year badge, and I'd been watching that closely because I was really curious. I knew it had to be coming up. My oldest son, who's a middle schooler, he was big into Clash Clans for a long time, playing it all the time, and kept asking me, "Dad, try this. Let's play it. Let's do it together. I think you'll like it." Whatever reason, I just didn't have any interest. At the time, the only game I ever played was Words with Friends, and I was addicted to it. But then, I don't know, it kind of wore off a little bit for him. But then Clash Royale came out, and he had been playing it again for a little while. He's had his now for, I don't know, maybe a month, his 3-year badge. But he, after playing it for a few weeks, kind of the same thing. "Dad, you got to try this. Let's play it. I think you'll like it." So I gave in because I wouldn't join Clash of Clans, but I gave in on Clash Royale. And what can I say? I was so hooked from day one. I just remember laying on the floor with him in the living room, and we're just battling away and cheering and having fun. It was a blast. It was like no other game I'd ever played before.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I put it off for a while because a lot of my students played it, and I didn't want to play what they were playing. But I finally gave it a try, and I knew it was the type of game that I would love because I really like tug of war style games. And like you said, it quickly became almost an addiction. Like it's a whole lot of fun. It's really awesome to hear that you're able to connect with your son like that too. That gives you a little a connection with the community and with the kids and with your son directly himself. So that's a cool story to hear. So why don't we go ahead and start talking a little bit about your post specifically. Let's see. Let's take a look at your first one here. So first of all, what motivated you to start this whole, like graphic designing these humorous kind of posts for Clash Royale?
Yeah, well, just over a year ago, I started a new clan at the urging of some guys that I had been in another clan with, and we kind of had a little bit of falling out, just disagreement with the way the clan was run, which is, not uncommon. And so I started a new clan, and they came with me. We quickly grew it, and a few of them were co's. As I got to know more and more of the guys, a few more of them became co-leaders as well. And then at the time, Clash Royale was really pushing the Line app for use in game, and so I made a chat with just them so we could communicate, outside of the game as far as what we wanted to do, just things related to the game and how to keep the clan going and rules and whatnot. And we got to know each other, better, I guess, as time went on, sharing things about each other, pictures, life, family stuff. And we, quickly learned as most guys, we enjoy just having fun, goofing around. There's one guy in particular that's just a real goofball and just loves to have fun. So a lot of the chat was just goofy stuff, being silly. And I don't know. I started knowing I know Photoshop well. I decided, whatever reason, on something, I would just make something in Photoshop for one of the guys and submitted or posted it on there, and they all got a laugh, and basically it just expanded from there. A lot of the early stuff was game related, but didn't necessarily have game elements in it, if that makes sense. It was more inside jokes, I guess, if I had to describe it in a way. And yeah, we just had a lot of fun laughing at those things. And so I've been a long time user of the Rocket. I upgraded it early on, and I kind of felt like, well, I'm somewhat stuck with this, and used it for a long time. And I would tell the guys in the chat and even in the game, just every time I would launch that rocket, I just want to yell boom or just say boom.
Right.
And I was, an emote, a word emote that would just throw up the word boom with an exclamation point or something.
Yeah.
And chatting with one of the guys about it or something, and then just being silly, making comments, it sparked that idea in my mind. And then, of course, being named Goblin Guru, throwing a goblin in with it, just, I guess, was natural. I don't know. So, jumped on Photoshop probably the very next day and started putting that together. And I threw it up online, showed the guys. They thought it was awesome. They laughed. One guy who I've known the longest from previous clan said, "Hey, you need to submit that to Clash Royale. They post fan art on News Royale every now and then. So see if they'll do that." So all right. So got on the game, messaged them, asked them, or told them whatever. I just made a piece. I'd like to just share it with you guys, and if you like it, maybe you'll throw it up. And the reply was,
posted on Reddit.
Yeah, exactly. Post it on Reddit and see if you can get a buzz around it. And they said basically the devs are watching, and let it go from there. I said, okay, thanks. So that night I created my first Reddit account and submitted it, posted it, whatever, and it did well. But as you said earlier, I made an error in one typo, and unfortunately I could not get 2 days later, so I logged out by accident, and for the life of me could not get back in, and had them send me new password multiple times, and I'm not getting the email with the new password, and I can't figure out why. Well, I realized I'd taken a screen capture of my setup at the time, just in case, so I'd remember, and I noticed there one typo, one letter. So it was being sent to some random email that I have no idea anyone's even getting. But,
gotcha. So you had to make a new account then because of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I lost it. I messaged Reddit a bunch over the next few days, never heard back from them. So I said, well, I guess I'm starting over with a new account. I wanted to continue what I was doing and being on Reddit as well. So so a new account started.
Cool, man. Sounds awesome. So that is pretty much the story of how you got started and your first post. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the next post that we wanted to talk about here, which is your first honest card descriptions. All right, I am looking at your honest card descriptions 1. I think this is the top one, right? Like, this is, I think, your most successful post. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So let's see. What did I want to ask you about this? So what do you think, like, was the formula? Like, this, what's the magic formula? What made this post so successful? Why did people like it so much? And how do you feel about it personally?
Well, I think it was different than what anyone had seen, because daily people are posting card ideas, and then of course coming up with their own description and then all the specs to go with that card. But I took cards that were already in game and gave them new names and new descriptions. And I guess I wanted to be funny with it and clever, but go in a different direction than how the game actually described them. And I think it was just something that the Reddit hadn't seen yet, and so that's probably why it did so well.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I remember seeing it, and I kind of like. It took me a while to put the connection together, but I remembered like, oh yeah, that was this guy that I remember seeing some of his other posts about, and it was just really funny. I really liked it because it had a whole lot of puns, and I think well, first of all, if you're new to the channel and if you don't know, I majored in English when I went to college, so I really enjoy puns and silly jokes, that focus around wordplay and English and things like that. Yeah. So I don't know, it just like all the jokes about that cracked me up. Like dainty archer, type, annoying. And I think I made a comment on your post like where I quoted once mistaken for a Jonas brother, and I was just cracking up because it was like, first of all, it's just funny because it's silly. And secondly, it fits because she, you could see how she could be mistaken for a Jonas brother. And thirdly, it's like, it was relevant to me because I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 91. So you're not talking about something that was like, particular to the time zone. You didn't put like a Lil Pump reference or something like that. Like you did something from, I don't even know, when were they popular? Like early 2000s or something like that?
Yeah, around.
Yeah, so it was like a joke about, kind of my childhood. So I really liked that. It kind of made it connect to me personally. And I mean, just all around, I think it was humorous, and I think people on Reddit like humor and jokes and puns and things like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and as much as I enjoy the art side of this and making things look fun and funny, the copywriting, the jokes, the word plays, it's just, I enjoy those just as much easily. So, and I spend a lot of time. I mean, I don't have an English background, but I do enjoy what words can do and how funny words can be as well as images.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it pairs together really well. All right, dude. So that is your first honest card description. Let me adjust my zoom here, and let's talk about your next thing here. So what was your personal favorite? And well, before I ask that question, I just want to pull up this next post here, which was the 90s kids, only 90s kids will remember. And if you look at this post, like there's a whole bunch of hidden things in there, like almost every little thing. Like this must have taken forever. You got the dinosaur face for the baby dragon. You got all these stickers on the bomber, and he's wearing whatever those shoes are, and LA gear, like the shutter shades. I'm just looking at it. Every time you look at it, there's another thing. So like this was one of your most successful posts, and it's also your most recent, and it goes along the lines of that humor. I feel like the honest card descriptions, like it was great for a while, but it started to get a little bit not repetitive. They're awesome, but just a little, like people were just getting worn out with them a little bit. This is a nice change of pace, and it seems really successful. What would you consider your personal favorite if you have one, though?
It's tough. I enjoy elements of all of them without trying to sound too prideful.
No, absolutely, yeah.
They all mean a lot to me. Some didn't take as much time, and some took a lot of time. I mean, in fact, most of them take quite a while. Besides just the designing of the computer work, I'm thinking about some of these throughout the night, over the weekend, when I wake up, just all the time. Especially those honest card descriptions. Just I'll get one card, in my mind, and I'll just try to think about as much about it as I can, and just jot things down wherever I could in my phone or on a scrap paper. And so, they take time, so they all have a special meaning to me. But I realize too, some don't do quite as well, and then that's fine. Yeah, I guess it's hard. I enjoy bits of all of them.
Yeah, that's good to know, though. And I totally understand that. Like, it's hard to pick a favorite because you spend so much time and effort. Like, I wouldn't say I have a favorite video. Like, there's a lot of videos that I spent a lot of time and effort on. And there's bits and pieces of them that I like, and bits and pieces that I feel I could have done better for sure. So, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, and in a lot of it, I think too, maybe the most recent one because it's more fresh in my mind and probably other people's minds, as well as their comments. tends to kind of rise to the top. But
Yeah.
it's fun to look back at past ones and say, oh yeah, I forgot about it, did that one or that one. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, to relate to that for me personally, like I'll have a video that I forgot I recorded, and all of a sudden it's like a year old and it's getting hits. I'm like, oh, I guess people are checking out this year-old video, with an old mic and everything. So yeah,
nice.
I can relate. Like it's cool to go back and see your old work, and it was cool for me just now to go back and see your Honest Card Descriptions one, because that one was one of the first ones that I was like, oh, this guy's really great. He's doing some really good and funny work here.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. All right, let's talk about the next one here, which is the boats. Now, I really like this one. So you totally gave a shout out to other Redditors. By the way, guys, you put me as number one here. To toot my own horn, right? But anyway, that is the Tazabita is my name of my alt account. It's also the name of my Reddit username. For those of you that don't know, it's Chamorro, which is the local language of Saipan, the island that I grew up on. And basically it means nothing to do. So like Beta is like, what are you going to do? What's your plans? Tadza is like nothing. So Tadza Beta is like nothing plans, like, oh, no plans, nothing to do. So it's kind of something that we would say when we're like, oh, what are we going to do? I got nothing to do. I'm just going to play some games, right? Tadza Beta, I'll just play some Clash Royale. So anyway, just to clear that up,
cool.
that's the reference there for those of you that are wondering. And I was honored to be included in his post and to also be considered the number one. So this was shortly after Clan Wars had just come out. He gave a shout out to me and 4 other Redditors. I know FM33 is Flying Machine 33. He's a real cool kid. Makes some real awesome posts for the community. Weishful's like one of the top commenters and gives some awesome strategy. Comments on almost every single post. If you sort by new, you'll see him everywhere on the subreddit. I'm not familiar with Natty or Ham and Cheese, but you told me that they're people that you've talked to as well, and they've also been friendly and helpful on the Reddit. So do you want to just talk a little bit about this post and your idea behind giving shoutouts to the other Redditors?
Sure. Yeah, so, most of my posts, obviously, I want them to relate right back to the game. I'm looking at a lot of the different screens, whether it's, the war screen there, the war island, just whatever, in battle screens, your card sorting, just all of those things, the shop. And I want it to be something we're all seeing a lot, almost daily. And then how do I make that funny? So this is one I wanted to do for a while, and I just didn't know. I wasn't real excited about all 5 clans getting the exact same boat. Now, I didn't necessarily mean or think at the time that someone should have a better boat than someone else, but that the 5 boats should vary somewhat, other than I think there's a slight color change or something.
Right.
And yeah, I do remember this. I was driving home from work, and I was just down the road at this first stoplight, and it hit me. I should, have the boats based on how well you're doing currently in that war.
Yeah.
And, and I thought, okay, well, how do we make this funny? What are the 5 different boats? And obviously, number one being a great big, awesome yacht.
Yeah, a cruise ship, essentially.
And then I kind of think of my way, how do I work this down all the way down to like a little canoe or a safe, or a lifeboat or whatever. And
I love the life raft, the little life
preserver,
donut,
exactly.
life preserver. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's such a golden touch. Sorry, go ahead.
So as soon as I figured out what kind of the 5 levels of boats I wanted, the other thing that goes into some of these posts is this one, for instance, took probably 3 or 4 different screen captures of the war I was involved in at different times, just so I can get. There's a lot of things that happen in the ocean. There's glares. There's just different things. So I have to get the right photo or screen captures in order to get kind of to piece things together. The other one that comes to mind is my first 4 crown win. That one took a number as well to get it to look right and to be, I guess, neutral enough where I can start piecing things together and it look real.
Yeah.
So back to the boats. Once I had all the things figured out and all my screen captures ready, I just went to Photoshop and started putting it together and making it as realistic as possible and getting the right perspective. It's very important to me that they look real so that they're believable, but then, also very funny. And I looking now, it says 2 months ago, I was still new to Reddit, so I'd only been on about 2 months, 2.5 months probably. And as you said, I was seeing Weishful's name all over constantly.
Yeah.
FM33 Fly Machine had contacted me early on, I think even about maybe working with him on some stuff. And I again, we're not going to be able to do it, but he and I chatted privately outside, and it was just cool to talk about life and things. Natty has been super supportive of all my posts. She's just very excited, and I'm very thankful for that, and just love hearing her comments. And same with Ham. He's just also very supportive and yeah, great comments, and it's always fun to hear from him as well. And I've spoken to him privately on Reddit a number of times as well. So yeah, I just wanted to shout out to a few of you, and then of course going back to you. We had already talked. You were the first person I messaged privately on Reddit ever, just looking for some advice and how to do things, and just suggestions on posts and how to make them work better and enjoyable for everyone. So
yeah, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, I think what happened was I asked you if you had any social media where you were posting this, and I was recommended, I'm like, you should put this on Instagram or something, because to me, I hate to admit it, but like as a YouTuber, you kind of have to be like chasing that clout. Like you've got to be getting those likes on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, because every time that you're doing that, you're getting more publicity, and you're getting people to redirect themselves, ideally, eventually to your channel. And it might be 1 in 50 people that sees this Instagram picture will actually click on my photo and click on my profile and go to my YouTube channel. But anyway, I was just like, man, you should be putting this out there so more people can see it, more publicity. And I think that's how we ended up talking. And you told me, like, you were just in it for the Reddit, posting it on Reddit, and the personal, satisfaction of getting that out there for the Clash Royale subreddit community. Do you want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. So I'm a pretty private. I'm trying to think how private in a way, but yeah, social media is just something I don't partake in. I was born in 1980, so social media and a lot of those things were. I was in college when Facebook and MySpace really started. I was about to graduate when they became big in my area,
right.
And so I just never been into it. I had a Facebook account, and I had not even logged in for a year at one point. So I decided I'm just going to get rid of this. I don't need it. I'm not even using it. So yeah, the people that are close to me are the people I stay in contact with, and through my phone or just in person. So I didn't have an issue with downloading Reddit to share this, and I'm making these. I guess I see my posts as we're all just in that community. We're all just friends. We're all just hanging out, enjoying a common thing, Clash Royale.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of, we're posting jokes. We're sharing things, help, just things we notice, all questions, whatever. And mine are just kind of, as I labeled my account or described it, the lighter side of Clash Royale. And basically, I just want to make things that other people enjoy as much as I do, and we can all get a laugh at and just have a good time with. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. And this seems like a great platform for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's obviously the platform for Clash Royale, so I'm happy to be on it, and I don't have I don't feel led to go anywhere else or go beyond there. So
cool. Well, no, that's good to know, and it puts it into perspective. And again, I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm doing this for likes and stuff, because I started this channel because I absolutely love this game, and I wanted to share strategies with other people. Now, obviously, if I were to get to a point where I could make monetization off of it, that's not a bad thing. That would allow me to focus more energy and resources towards the channel and sharing those strategies and everything with people. But it's good to hear that your motivation is purely just like, I like this game, I like making jokes, I do graphic design, I'm going to share these humorous photos with people for the fun of it.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, let's move on to the next post here, which is the Fair Play Lifted. And this is a long one. I'll be scrolling through it. So what I wanted to ask you about this one is, this was one of your less successful posts. And I want to be clear, you get upvotes, you get likes on all your posts pretty much. And the less successful means it only had like 40 instead of like 3,000 or something crazy like that, right? So people still liked it and got a kick out of it. But this would be one of the ones that did not get upvoted as much. So why do you think that this one was less successful? Was it less work? I mean, just give me your thought on that whole topic.
Yeah, art wise, it obviously didn't take much time. A few screenshots, and then just playing with the title. But yeah, this is one where it kind of comes down to the copywriting, the jokes being words, and I spent a fair amount of time for sure on this, wanting it to look and sound funny, but also be real. I read the actual fair play post that they had in game a few times, so I kind of wanted it to mimic and look like that. It was the first one. Again, I made. Is it Imgur? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I was the first. I made this Imgur, and again, I talked to you about this. I know that there's no way to make an image that can scroll up and down. It either fills your screen or you can zoom in and out, but scroll. And I wanted to feel like the actual post in the game where you scroll up and down to read it. And so I'd seen other people using Imgur with their post, and it worked in that fashion where you're able to scroll up and down to be more realistic. So I decided to create that account just for this one post and use it there. I've thought about it a bit. I was bummed that it wasn't, not necessarily got a bunch of upvotes, but just even much comments. It was a very busy day on Clash Royale on April 1st. I can't remember what was happening that day, but I remember it was a lot of buzz. There was a lot of people.
Like when the big patch came out? Or I can't remember. They're always coming out with new stuff.
There was something big. It was very busy on Reddit that day.
Yeah.
So whether it got buried a little or just wasn't as humorous as I thought it was, then yeah, I guess I don't know the real reasons, but I'm still proud of it. I think if some people go back and read it, they would see the humor in there. Just having fun. Not by no means. None of these are meant to attack Clash Royale or slander them, be mean in any way. They're just having fun with stuff in the game that, like I said, we all see these screens constantly, and how can I make them fun? Fair play was a big thing for a little while after they posted. That's why they obviously posted that in the news, and so I just have fun with that as the April Fool's joke, and they're going to lift it for one day, and you can do whatever you want. So sharing accounts, buying third-party gems, and playing with your banned accounts, and I just thought it was funny coming up with descriptions for each one of those. I enjoyed making up silly things that related to it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was really funny. I loved, the few reputable third-party sites. Sepulchercell.com, ClashRoyaleGems.net, Play.google.com, Owlpoll, you know what I mean? Like, NotAGemScam.com. Like, it's just puns, just silly stuff. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like people maybe just took it too seriously, like they thought you were trying to troll or something, and they didn't take it as like, oh, it's just a silly April Fool's joke, or maybe it just didn't hit the same funny vein as the other ones. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I can totally see why. I guess they thought I was trolling. It probably will not come across as my nicest post in some ways because of what I chose to address, but I was really hoping it was so far opposite that it was clearly a joke. The other thing, right there at the top, it says April 1st, 2019. I mean, You've got to things like this on April 1st. So, and then of course at the very bottom I put GG, kind of tried to make it look like it was engraved in the bottom of the wall there. But
I see that, yeah.
It doesn't take much to clearly read. Obviously, this isn't something that would ever really happen. So, or let alone. I don't know. I think it was a busy day. There was a lot going on the sub, and I just got buried, and other things made their way above it. And it is what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that makes sense. So again, they're not all going to be smash hits, right? I get videos like I spent countless hours on this one video and did a ton of editing, and it just got like some cruddy negative feedback and almost no views. So like I understand how that goes, Were you still going to say something about that?
Nope. We're good.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next few posts here. So this next one, there's actually a few that I would like to look at here. So the more trade tokens, the emotional responses to balance changes, and the the king star levels one. So let's take a look at the more trade tokens one first. What I want to bring up here is and this is relative to what we were just talking about, how you make your posts based on what's going on in the subreddit right now. You're following the trend of like, okay, what's popular. So the whole fair play thing you mentioned, you brought that up like when Supercell had done this whole big crackdown on fair play, and like this was when all the accounts were getting banned for buying cheap
Right.
gems and stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So this one right here, the more tokens, this one was going on when people were promised twice the amount of trade tokens when they did a trade token switch, so that you needed 2 trade tokens, one from each person to trade, no longer just
Right.
needing one. It made it so they eliminated people from going into clans and sniping and, you know, like taking one trade and saying they were going to use their token too, but then just leaving the clan and things like that. And they were like, oh, but in compensation, we're going to give you twice the amount of trade tokens, so it won't matter that you both have to have them. Since you'll have 2 times as many, it'll even out to be the same. But people were complaining it felt like way less than twice. It felt like almost the same amount, and like they weren't able to trade anymore. And there was this whole big uproar for a while because people couldn't get used to the new system. They implemented this new system that completely changed the way that trade tokens were used, essentially. And for a long time, people were really upset about that. So do you want to comment on that at all and about this post?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So it was definitely something that was trending. It was just a big part of the conversation on Reddit and a lot of what people were talking about. So yeah, I was trying to think how can I make tokens? How can I make this funny? This topic, this theme, and again, brainstorming, just running through stuff that are in my mind. I got to thinking, what if the joke is they're all there? They've really dropped a lot more, but we're not seeing them. We're missing them, and it's on our end, not their end. And so I decided, well, how do I make it look like there's a lot more tokens in the game, but we're just not seeing them? So, you know, going back to the loading screen, trying to just take pictures and images of stuff we're used to seeing a lot daily, and you know, putting a legendary token in the hands of that skeleton or the bomber. I'm sorry, and then changing out one of the fire spirits to a rare token.
Yeah.
Rolling.
And you left
And
the
then-
flame behind it. I love it.
Exactly. And then the wheel of the wagon. So if you're going to buy 6,500 gems, you're going to get a common token as well. We're just not seeing it. You know, it's kind of hidden there. It's just partly. And then the last one, just bringing it into real life, you know, the stuff that gets lost in our couches and buried or falls out of our pockets. And oh, look, there's a rare token. It's
right. It's
All
classic.
right.
Find the coins under the couch cushion, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's funny because that's like a legitimately real thing. So it's just a pun on real life, like you said.
yeah.
I like
So-
it, man. Let's take a look
Yeah,
at some
no,
of these. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I was, you know, again, really happy about that one. I thought it was fun, clever, and I was proud of it. It was definitely one of my least successful at 280. It was my third one, so it followed up the King Star levels, which was very popular. So you know, some things people like, and some things we don't. It's you know, everything's subjective, so it's comedy and humor. So I get that, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember seeing this one, and I remember it took me a little while to get it, and I think that's probably why it wasn't super popular compared to the other ones. And again, it's still got like 200 some upvotes, which is really good even for the Clash Royale subreddit. You know, like that's a front pager. But I think it just like to me, my impression was it took me a second to understand what you were saying. But then I got it, and like, oh, I get it. Okay, he's just hiding because we were promised more trade tokens, and you know what I mean. So maybe because it just wasn't as like straightforward and direct, you know, like it might have needed an explanation. And again, you know, Clash Royale, a lot of the community is going to be younger kids and things like that. So again, not to talk down on kids at all. There's a lot of amazing smart kids there, but just naturally, you know, they might need something like that to be a little bit more direct, humor wise. Or maybe I'm missing it, and maybe I'm the idiot that it just whooshed right over my head, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is just what it is, you know, in today's society. If it doesn't happen and we don't get it, you know, pretty quickly within seconds, we've lost interest. I'm no different by any means. So, you know, you see this right away. It's got some words in the center and then some images, and if it's not funny or doesn't appeal to you right away, or you're not even curious about spending the time to figure it out, then yeah, you're either going to download it or just leave. And I get that. Not all posts are going to be straightforward. So
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at this next one here, which is the Uh, research study of emotional responses to balance changes. So this was one again that I just wanted to bring up because it was relevant to the current state of the subreddit. Whenever there's balance changes, the subreddit just loses its crap. Like it just everybody rages, and I'm always just like, guys, relax, like just play the game. And then of course people rage at me for trying to suck up to Supercell or whatever. But I'm always just like, at least they're doing something. At least they're changing stuff and listening to the community. So why don't you talk about what motivated you to do this? Just whatever you want to say about this post here.
Okay. Yeah, I'd been in Reddit for a few months, so I was aware after, I don't know if this was maybe the second or so balance change or third, I don't know, but and of course the chat of my own clan, I understand the talk and what's going on, but I just wanted to make I was seeing in words and on posts just the very different sides. We got people who are absolutely happy about some of it, and then people that are just completely angry and going nuts. And then other people don't care, and whether they're even responding or not posting. There's kind of three areas, I guess. And I thought a Venn diagram would be a fun way to represent this, taking the three very different aspects or feelings on balance changes.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I want be happy, don't care, and then just worked out the rest from there. And again, trying to keep it really funny and as funny as I could and comedic and really just for us all to kind of laugh at. I definitely have fallen in all three of those, even in just balance change.
Yeah.
So.
No, I know. Like I was upset like when they nerfed Knight to Oblivion because he was my favorite card for a long time, and he was my first max card, and then they nerfed him. So of course I was personally upset, but at the same time I was like, whatever, I'll still play him because he's over leveled. But when I'm playing challenges, I'll use Valkyrie instead or something like that. It's whatever. Like you adjust. Yeah, Three Musketeers got nerfed. Play something else. You know what I mean? Like that's just my personal mentality. I completely understand everybody's allowed to react however they feel and see fit. And I think that's kind of the essence of what you're trying to capture here with this post.
Yep, basically. And then there had just been a free emote or an emote that had come out. I cannot remember which one it was. And everybody was asking when they were going to get it because a few people got it. And I think it was when you watched your favorite YouTubers.
Yeah, that one. That one or the one with like the ClashRoyale League or whatever. One of the ones where you had to watch something.
And a lot of people were still just waiting for that. So I guess that's how I saw Reddit. It basically had three different people as far as the balance changes, how they felt. And then you had a fourth person or type of people who were only on there because they had not gotten their free emo yet and were upset and asking and curious.
Right now, I like it. I like their only max card was nerfed. Can't afford to upgrade new cards. Moved on to Brawl Stars. Like it's good. It's humorous.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. Is there anything else you wanted to touch up on with this particular post?
No, I don't think so. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, I like it. And in the center only cares about getting the free emote. All right, let's talk about this next one and possibly the final one here that we're going to talk about specifically, which is the King star level emotes. So how did this come about? What was your theorization behind this? And I think this is one of your favorites. If you want to talk about why, you can tell me.
Yeah, it was my second post. The star levels were pretty new at this point.
Right.
And, a lot of talk was just about, they just added some gold to our characters. Got some gold sleeves or gold whatever, and a little bit of this there. I guess, at least my personal feelings and people in my clan, we were kind of hoping the skins would be a little more exciting than they were. And I understand it's a lot of work. I'm not. I think the expectations were just high. I'm not trying to slam, Supercell on that, but I decided I wanted to play with, the talk all about being star levels and, but take it to something that doesn't have star levels, which is emotes.
Right.
And having those four being the original, I thought everyone could relate to them the easiest. And yeah, just jumped onto Photoshop and added the little star under there so it looked like they were a card that got a star level.
Yeah. And
then just brainstormed for a while on how to incorporate gold, because that's basically what we're adding is gold. Looking at what's offered there each emote what space is available and what can make it funny. Giving the 100 to the king with the thumbs up. I thought with the big
Yeah, I
gold
gave him
chain,
the bling. Yeah.
fun, right? The angry king was tough. He already has the crown. I don't know where else to add gold, but what do you do when you're angry? Well, you're piling off some words,
Right.
and
Yeah.
tried to give him that little bubble, and I just threw those in gold. Going to the third one, I could not figure out a way to incorporate gold into that one, so it kind of doesn't match the rest, I guess. But I wanted to play off what is it about? It's about him crying. Well,
Right.
how do I exaggerate him crying and really play off that? Well, let's fill up the little box there halfway with his tears, because he is really just bawling his eyes out.
Yeah.
Then going to the last one, just giving the guy, it's a giant smile and his mouth is open. Let's give him a gold grill.
Yeah. I love it.
Some shot there. So thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed that one. Like you said, it was successful. It was my first really successful one, and it was fun to do.
Yeah, definitely, dude. And that's interesting what you say about the crying one. And I kind of I like with where you're going with it, how it's like, okay, star levels, gold, making things next tier, more exaggerated. He's crying. Let's have him crying so much that it's filling up his whole speech bubble with tears. I mean, I don't know what else you could have done. Maybe have him holding a giant gold gauntlet that's getting filled up with tears. But then would that be as thematic and as powerful and as funny? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think you did a pretty good resolution. And I really like the grills. That one cracked me up the most.
Yeah, that one's fun. That one was fun.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see here. We're gonna wrap this thing up here pretty soon, but I have a few more questions for you. And I'll just kind of be skimming through some of your other some of the pictures that we talked about here while we're talking about this. So, do you have an end game here? You mentioned that you aren't really doing the whole social media thing. It's just kind of for the fun of it. Do you want to talk about what your goal is here with these posts, if there is one, or is it purely just for fun and to entertain people?
It really is mostly. It's about sharing things that I find humorous related to the game with the rest of the community. I enjoy it. I hope other people enjoy it and just have a good laugh about it. All of my posts, usually the idea, before I get too far into it, or maybe even before I've started it, I will throw the idea out to my co-leaders of my clan. They're all men, roughly my age, give or take 5-10 years. All of us, except for one, have children. So we are, in the same stage, and we've gotten to know each other very well. So they'll be honest with me, and I throw the ideas out there. If it sounds like it could be a hit or has a chance, then I usually get to work on it. My oldest son, who plays the game, is a middle schooler, the one I mentioned who got me into the game, and his best friend, who also played as well. I throw the ideas by them usually pretty early on as well, and just get their feedback to kind of gauge what younger kids would think of it. If they get it, if they find it funny, or not, if I'm totally off the mark. I don't know. I didn't really do that early on, but it's become much more important to me the last, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8, 10 posts.
Yeah.
It's the last one, the one that I just posted recently with all the 90s stuff. I know a lot of those objects and images they're gonna know or have an idea about. They completely get the joke, which is fine with because also there's a lot of older people my age that play the game and are on Reddit. So some of the jokes that did go through, I was very happy about. The Suge Knight one was a bit of a deep pull.
With the Tupac skeleton on the back.
Exactly. Yep. With the Tupac bandana. So the people who got that, a few that posted, and I'm sure many more got it that didn't necessarily comment, but the ones that did, it made my day for sure, because it was such a kind of a deep pull of a joke. But
I loved it. Blockbuster.
So right now it's as long as I'm playing the game, and I've got ideas that I think have are worth sharing, then I'm going to spend the time and go in and make them and post them. My I guess end game goal would be to, I suppose, well, one of the things recently, it's probably been done for a few years, but in January, the Reddit posted, I think it was like top six. It was six categories, and the top two posts related to that category. So
Right.
kind of the winner, best of 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
and I saw it, and I think I was the first one on. I was the first or second one to comment. I do remember that, and I
Yeah.
just was kind of bummed when I saw it and thought, oh, there's not a humor section now or category, but there was a meme, which I realized my stuff could fall under a meme.
Right. Yeah.
But I was hoping really there was just kind of a generic humor one, which would include memes. And so I guess if I had a goal, it would be to make that list for the best of 2019 for sure. So that would be, I'd be happy about that. I'd be thankful and grateful if that did happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I have already told you, you have my nomination, and I know that other people have already commented that they would be happy to nominate and vote for you. So you can expect it. If they don't give you a humor category, there was like strategy category, meme category, what is it? A guide category, and then like best commenter, most helpful, all kinds of stuff like that. Like we'll figure something out in there to nominate you, because I mean you've had a lot of really humorous and successful posts. You've had some of the most like ongoing, continuously successful posts on the subreddit, other than of course people that we mentioned like Wishful, who's always commenting, giving strategy tips to everybody on like every single post and things like that.
Right.
So definitely I think that you're worthy of a nomination, and we'll have to wait until the 2019 one rolls around, and hopefully you can get a little bit of recognition there. I know you've gotten a few responses, as have I, on a couple of our posts here and there from like Drew and Seth on the subreddit. Do you want to talk about that at all really quickly?
Yeah, I mean, the first one was my rocket star level. They responded, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically thought it was cool, or maybe it had something. It might have been something about the goblin writing. I don't recall.
Right. Which, by the way, they incorporated. They should pay you, but that's a story for another time.
Yes. Yeah. So that it's always cool, of course, to hear them, the community directors, managers respond or make a comment on a post. The second one that they did was also my second post, so that star level emotes, which I'm pretty sure on that one he just mentioned. I didn't think you'd be able to follow up. The rocket star level 2 with another great post. So
right. Yeah.
It was just some great positive feedback that just kind of helped motivate me even more to continue on from there. So
yeah, no, that's great. That's excellent. I'm glad to hear that they saw some of your stuff. So let's see. There's a couple more questions I wanted to wrap this up here with. So you've already kind of talked about this, but I just want to touch up on it briefly, and that is, do your kids enjoy this as much as you? Like you told me that you use your oldest son to help you gauge, because he's in middle school, kind of how the audience will react. And really quickly, I want to mention, you made the connection. Who is your audience? Clash Royale, there are some of us older folk who play it, but a big majority of the people who play it are kids. So you got to know your audience. You got to respond to your audience and give them what they want. So it's good to have that kind of inside voice, inside knowledge of a middle school brain to be like, okay, is this funny? Is it cringy, as they would call it? Is it too much? So on and so forth. So other than using him to gauge, do your kids enjoy this as much as you do? Like when you make posts, do you show it to them, and do they crack up? Or what would you say about that?
Yeah, so my youngest two, I maybe have shown them a couple of these. They don't play the game or anything, so they're not necessarily understanding the joke or anything. But my oldest son, he gets a kick out of it. Like I said, I share it with him and his friend. They're both middle schoolers, so that I can kind of get a gauge there. But yeah, they definitely enjoy it. I think they have just as much fun with it as I do. Yesterday was pretty exciting. Again, going back to my most recent post about the 90s, only 90s kids will remember. And Clash with Ash made a comment. So that was pretty exciting. So I had to take a screenshot of that little interaction between he and I, that discussion, and send it to both my son and his friend, and just say, hey, check this out. This is pretty cool. So,
do they watch him?
Some, yeah.
That's good. That's cool. Yeah. Ash
is
is the man, dude. He's a real, genuinely nice guy. He's been helpful. He spent like an hour on Skype with me, just like giving me tips on my channel once. Like he's been super helpful. He checks out my videos, leaves comments. gives me shout outs in his stream all the time. Gave me a shout out on Twitter. Like, he's a genuinely friendly, nice guy who's very helpful and cares about the Clash Royale community.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Were you still gonna say something about that there? I feel like I cut you off.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it as far as, my questions go. So before we wrap this up here, do you have any closing thoughts? Do you have any closing shout outs that you want to give to people? What would you like to leave us with?
Yeah, I just want to, give a shout out and a big thank you to my co-leaders, and my son and his friend as well, just for all the help, a lot of suggestions and comments, the feedback, just everything along the way, and for them making the suggestion, I guess, first to go ahead and post it. It's just been a fun ride. I'll never forget this, depending, no matter when it ends, but it's just been a lot of fun, and I'm very thankful to them and for all their help as well, and my clan, and just everything that they've done. And the community, the Clash Royale community, the sub on Reddit, just thank everyone for all their support. There's so many great comments and feedback, and I'm really glad that it makes people's days, or puts a little smile on their face, or gives them a little chuckle, whatever. And the most recent one, just kind of bringing back some nostalgic memories. It does mean a lot to me, everyone that comments, and I did get someone recently say something about, you don't have to thank everyone or reply to everyone's comment. Well, I realize I don't, but I want people to know it really does mean a lot, and I'm really glad that they're enjoying it just as much as I am. Yeah. And I really hope they have a great day and a great week. And it's a rough world out there, and life is very tough. And I know everyone's going through something or some things, and if I can just help make them their day a little better, a little happier, then I'm happy for that. I'm thankful for that. So.
All right, awesome, dude. That's a very wholesome, friendly, and genuine thing of you to close with. And listen, no matter what you do, you're always gonna have naysayers. You can get, a post that, like you said, that gets 3,000 upvotes on a smaller community like this, and you're always gonna get one or two kids raging, telling you that it sucks, or that you should, do something terrible. I'm not gonna go into detail here on my YouTube channel, but you guys know how the trolls are. So brush it off, and I appreciate the positive attitude that you bring to the community and all the humor that you bring to it. I completely agree. I went through a period in my life where I was more negative, and it was like, okay, I don't care about, ruining other people's moods or days, just kind of the teenage angst attitude. And I've definitely transitioned into trying to be more of a genuine positive person, and like, why not put that positive energy out there, make something, like you said, that's humorous, that makes somebody's day 1,000 miles away. Like, you never know, right? Butterfly effect. It could affect way more than you could ever imagine, being a nice person and doing fun things for people.
Absolutely. Right.
So I think that's pretty much it for this interview, man. Do you have any closing words or thoughts that you want to leave us with here?
Yeah, I want to thank Clash Royale just for the fun game, for all the fun times. I've spent many hours on the game, and gotten to know a lot of people through different clans and outside because of it. So I'm very thankful for that, and just a fun time. And I also want to thank you. Thank you for earlier on just chatting with me and giving me some advice and just chatting, talking, and just I guess being there. And thank you for this interview. It was fun. It was cool to do. I hope some of my fans, if I can call them that, will listen to this just to maybe get to know who I am if they're at all curious. And yeah, I just thank you. It was a great interview, man. You've got a skill here. I really think you made me comfortable. You made the discussion go well and smooth and fun. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, my pleasure, dude. Thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad to be able to help out. Like I said, he messaged me. He was just a genuinely nice guy. I responded, gave him my thoughts, and we've been communicating ever since. I said, listen, dude, I got to get you on my channel. And he came on. So thanks so much for taking the time to do this, man. Taking a full hour or more out of your day, probably 2 hours with all the prepping and everything, to come on here. I really appreciate it. So that is it for tonight, guys. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and I want to hear what you have to say about Goblin Guru and about this kind of interview format. Make sure you leave the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I cover decks and balance changes and things like that all the time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Do you want to say goodnight?
Good night. God bless.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
Bye.